Welcome back to West Texas View.
Over the last 3 Sundays, you've been hearing from various members of the staff of the Samaritan Counseling Center, or in one case, a board member. And we've talked about a lot of things: the history, the mission, the goals, and the programs and services. When we left the last segment, Becky Cagle was talking a little bit about that. You had met Mark Alexander earlier, who talked about the governing and the overall day-to-day operations. And we're going to talk with both of them in this last segment about those things. And Becky, I want us to start with you and talk about 2 of the last things that are so important, and that's life coaching, which is a fairly new term. I mean, this has only been on the horizon about the last 5 or 6 years. And then I want you to talk about play therapy.
Okay, well, in life coaching, we're discovering that we've got to get back to the mind, body, and spirit approach to our lives. We've become a very busy, over-focused on work, society, and now we're wanting to focus more on quality of life. We're wanting to focus more on what will fulfill me in my life. We get down to practical things like budgeting, about everyday living, about managing mood, about just how to parent more effectively. So life coaching can be a very practical and wonderful experience.
And really to talk about taking control of your own destiny.
Yes, yes.
With God's guidance.
Exactly, with the faith component. And then in play therapy, it's a really wonderful experience with the child, because you go in the room and you let the child lead. We have a sand tray and all kinds of characters and different types of settings, so that a child can enact in the sand where they are, what's going on in their life. Things represent things. I had one child walk in, and the puppet stage we had, he saw the dragon, and he said, "I know who that's going to be." And then we have the little doll houses where they can reenact maybe something going on in the home drama. Boys love cars, and you got to crash stuff. But this is another way of them acting out just how angry are they. And so in play therapy, you make sure you have a full array of play objects available to a child to be able to show you through his play or her play what they're going through.
And you especially use this in the younger they are.
Yes.
But
yes.
You use it really all the way up through preteens?
You can. You can use it through adults. They're now discovering you can do some sand tray therapy with adults. It's quite interesting now, but we're just now breaking into that ground. But for me, I'll work with a child from like the age of 8 or 9 younger in play therapy. 9 and up, I'll play games. We'll do different types of activities, and I find that you get a kid's hands busy, their mouth starts moving. And so you start working on learning how to be more verbal about expressing where they are.
I had a school counselor that told me that one of the things she does is say, I need to go down the hall. Come walk with me down the hall. And
yes.
Just walking somewhere.
Just get them moving.
That's right. That's interesting. Well, Mark, we always come back down to how the client pays, because that puts off a lot of people from ever coming and getting the help they need because they don't think they can afford it. So let's talk some real concrete terms.
We've already touched on client assistance funds. A number of insurance providers will give benefits for mental health provision in their employee plan or in their personal plans. And so one of the things we do each and every day is accept insurance assignments for compensation for our therapy hours. And if there's a copay from the insurance company, they pay a copay just like you would at a physician's office. Anywhere from $20 to $40 for the copay. We have some Medicaid assigned clientele that come. Some of our CPS kids and their families are on the Medicaid process, and we accept those Medicaid compensations for our therapy. And we do a variety of those sorts of things. We have some folks who come who do not have the ability to pay for their therapy hour, and so our client assistance funds ask for them to at least participate on some level with us in their therapy. We call it, Becky I think has the term, the best term for it. She calls it helping them be therapy ready. If they're investing something monetarily as well as their time, then the therapy session will go much better, and they will learn more, they will adapt more, and do what they need to do outside the therapy session if they're investing something on their own. So we try to ask everyone to do a minimum of $35, which means we have to add another $102 to that in our client assistance fund in order to make sure that they get the therapy they need. There are some clients who come to us who cannot do that minimum amount, and so we ask them to invest something in their therapy process, whatever they can, and if they are at a level that they can't do much, then it may be $5. But we do everything we can to never turn away a client who wants to come to see one of our therapists in order to get the help they need. So we do everything we can to make sure that they're participating, but also make sure that we're doing what we can to be sure they get the help.
And this is a perfect example of what you just said. Is several years ago, a new homeless person, a person who had never been homeless before, never been even close to being homeless before, and all of a sudden found herself and her 2 children homeless.
Exactly.
And so she got or was referred to the Samaritan Counseling Center, and she said that very thing: I cannot afford a penny. I don't have it.
Sure.
And so that was, but tell what the goal is. I love this goal, that no client is ever turned away.
No client is ever turned away. We do our absolute best to be sure that every client has the opportunity to get whatever help they need from whomever we can provide it.
In this last minute, tell the one thing that you wish everybody knew about the Samaritan Counseling Center.
That's a tough question.
That is a tough question. I tell you, I wish everybody knew where it was.
Well, I was going to say, one of the challenges we have, especially in fundraising, people like Children's Miracle Network puts a child on television that has a problem and people make donations. Because of the confidential nature of what we do, we don't have that opportunity. So what I wish people knew is we see some of those same types of people whose wounds or issues may not be as obvious, and we want them to come see us. But we can't promote that in the same way that someone like the Children's Miracle Network can. So find us, because our location gives us a little bit of obscurity, but it also gives clients anonymity. So when you find us, you'll be glad for where we are, and you'll be glad for the service that you get.
And so if you think you need counseling, you do. So go and see the Samaritan Counseling Center and talk to somebody, and they'll tell you where you do or not. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to the Samaritan Counseling Center staff for coming and doing these programs. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.